Hey everybody, how you doing? Today we're going to process a roll of Ilford HP5 pushed to 6400 ISO. I'd previously shot a roll of Kodak T-Max 3200 and I thought it was really cool. And I had some extra leftover HP5 and I wanted to kind of experiment with it and see what happens. So the developer we're going to be using today is XTOL. It's going to be a stock solution, so it's going to be kind of a lengthy time. It's going to be 18 minutes, and we'll just kind of go through the whole steps here, and hopefully I'm expecting some good results from today. All right, guys, so I have all my chemicals pre-made here. On the left-hand side is going to be our initial water bath, and that's going to ensure that the development is even throughout. The next one is going to be our stock XTOL, and then we have a water stop bath, and then the fixer. So I have all my stuff ready to go. Here I have the film preloaded in a Patterson tank. This is just a little single tank. These take about 300 milliliters of chemicals, and I've just always really enjoyed these tanks. They're really good. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our pre-wash, and then we'll go from there. All right, everybody. So the first step we're going to do is we're going to do our pre-bath. I love to use these darkroom timers as opposed to just like a stopwatch or anything like that. It's here. It's big. I can see it. We're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to do our pre-wash bath. That's going to be for 1 minute. All of these chemicals are at 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 Celsius standard developing. So this is just a minute. So we'll go ahead and just kind of do this together. So usually with the pre-wash, you'll just kind of take the spindle and just constantly rotate it for a minute. Alrighty, so now that our pre-wash is done, now we're going to pour in the XTOL. Usually people love to do this at 1:1, but for ISO 6400 from HP5, which is a 400 speed film, we're going to use the stock XTOL. DigitalTruth.com has it rated at 17.5 minutes, but I'm going to go 18 and just kind of round up. Can't really hurt it too much. So I have my timer set. So usually what I do when I put my developer in is I will agitate this for the first 30 seconds. And then after that initial 30 seconds, at the top of every minute, I will agitate the film for 10 seconds. And so our initial 30 seconds is done. I'm going to wait until we get to the top of the minute to agitate again for 10 seconds. So I'm going to stop recording here because 18 minutes is quite a long time, and we'll check back in when the stop bath is ready. All right, so we got about 15 seconds left, and next thing we're going to do is we're going to do our water stop bath. And the water stop bath is going to be for 30 seconds, and it's going to be constant agitation. So we're going to record all this at once, mainly because it's going to be just so short. This is all going to be quite short, so go ahead and put our water stop bath in here. I've always used a water stop bath. I started using water stop bath for film a long time ago. One of my old teachers mentioned that whenever you put a water stop bath in, the highlights immediately stop developing, and then the shadows get a little bit more extra time. That's what I was told, so don't quote me on that. But we're going to do our stop bath for 30 seconds. And then after 30 seconds, we're going to put our fixer in. Now, fixer's time can be it can vary depending on what kind of fixer you use. Today I'm using EcoPro fixer. This is relatively fresh fixer that I've made, so their times generally go between 3 and 5 minutes. I've used this a few times, so I'm going to do 4 minutes for this particular batch that I've made. And so exactly the same as the developer, we're going to constantly agitate the film for the first 30 seconds. And then at the top of every minute, we're going to agitate for 10 seconds. So we're coming up on 30 here. And then once we finish this, once this is wrapped up, we're going to do our water wash. And then that will be the next thing we do. Alrighty, so that's 4 minutes for the fixer. I'm going to go ahead and dump this back out in here. And we'll pour it in my fixer container here in a second. You just have to excuse any sound coming from here. So the last step we're going to do is going to do our water final rinse. So my faucet's preset to 68 degrees, and then we're going to set the timer for 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, we'll do our photo flow, and then we'll put it through the dryer. Okie doke. So now that our 5 minutes is up, we're going to take the lid off the little top here. I'll pour out just a little bit of water. And we'll just kind of add just a little bit more. Now the final step we're going to do is we're going to do LFN agent. You can use different types of wetting agents. There's photo flow. I like LFN just because it comes in this small little container, and it's just really easy to use. And so what I'm going to do now is we're just going to put 1 drop in here because 2 drops fill up 16 ounces. And so what we're going to do is set the timer for 1 minute, and we're going to constantly agitate. So I like to go back and forth like this, just kind of like a little bit smoother, a little bit gentler, and just kind of let that wetting agent soak in there. So after this step, we're going to empty out the water, and then we're going to put it in the dryer. Our next step here is we're going to take the film and we're going to put it here in the dryer. Now, this is the fun part because we get to see if some stuff actually came out or not. So this is, excuse the noise. So we're going to check here. We'll go through a few of these right here just to show you. Some of this looks, let's get that, yeah. Some of these negatives look a little thin, but I think they're going to be good for scanning. So now what we're going to do is we're going to hang our film in here. And then once we hang it in here, I like to take a squeegee, something about like this size. I like to just like run the squeegee down here. And you want to have a light touch. A light touch, you don't really need a whole lot of pressure on that. And this may be unnecessary, but I still do this. But I use these little Chemtech science wipes. And what I'll do is, I learned this from processing C41 film, which will be in a separate video. I'll fold it in half like this, fold it in half this way, and then what I like to do, I like to take the wipe and just get the back and the front of the film, and this just kind of prevents some further water spots and further dust spots. These dryers can get kind of dusty, and so I like to take this little extra step just to ensure that I'm going to get some decent results. So last step, put a little clothespin at the bottom just to make sure it hangs okay. And so from here, this is going to be 10 minutes. So after 10 minutes, we'll cut the film and I'll be all set. I'll take my timer, set it for 10 minutes, and then after 10 minutes, we'll take a look at the negatives. All right, so here is the final product. These look pretty decent. I think they're going to be pretty easily scanned. Apologies for the traveling light. That just happens every time I try to photograph negatives on this light table. But here, you can see on the bottom row, those cat pictures are very kind of thin. These are generally very thin. Most of these I shot indoors, so I kind of expected this. And the camera that I used was a Nikon F5 with a Tamron 35mm 1.8.